Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
And welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast. And today we have on John Mall. John, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. I'm based out of Southern California, originally by way of Philadelphia. I'm in financial services, so I run a virtual financial services agency. From home, we also meet clients in person, so I just love to help people.
Amazing. Kind of break that down for the audience so they can understand what you do.
Yeah, awesome. So when a lot of people see us on social media or click on our ad or are referred to us or see a website, they're either looking for three main things. They're either wanting to maximize their accumulation. They're really wanting to maximize their money and accumulate for the future. They're wanting maximum income, or they're wanting to maximize their generational wealth legacy, passing on to the next generation. So those are the main three things people come to us for our expertise in.
Amazing. So let me kind of ask you, did you always see yourself as sort of an entrepreneur, or was it something that kind of came?
That's a great question. I didn't always see myself as an entrepreneur. I actually started in the medical field. My mom was a nurse for 43 years. She said, son, you're going to go to nursing school. You're going to go be a nurse. And I said, Mom, I'll never be a nurse. Give it up. And so my senior year in high school, she actually backed off. I looked into it, passed nursing school with a little bit of grit and studying and hard effort. And so I'm actually a licensed registered nurse. But my wife and I realized that when we want to start a family, we want to control our time as well as our income. And so I actually stepped away 2019 from bedside to get in the entrepreneur journey.
Amazing. And did it start with finance?
It did not start with my entrepreneur journey. Did start with finance. It actually started with me as a client first, because my wife and I were making pretty decent income in the medical field, but we were spending way more than we made. My dad always told me you can't spend $10 an hour and make $5 an hour. And that's exactly what we were doing. We were making multiple six figures, but we were also spending more than we made just because we didn't have financial literacy. We didn't know how money worked. So I'm grateful just to be introduced to the industry by way of being a client first.
Amazing. So that's basically what you do, financial literacy.
That's right. Yeah.
Amazing. Kind of give us the gist of it. Let me ask you this. What has been the most influential thing to you being able to scale past 10K a month to where you are now?
Yeah, I think the most influential thing is environment as well as mentors. Our mindset really started to open up. This past weekend, I hung out with some people who make 100 grand and make 250,000. And they said, I make a lot of money. And I said, yeah, what does a lot of money mean? And then they just started sharing more. And so people have different ideas of what a lot of money is and what they want to accomplish. So we have a saying in the office. We say money is always tied to timing and purpose. Money is always tied to timing and purpose. And so just getting in the right environment and seeing the lifestyle of mentors, while they could still help people in an ethical, moral, and legal way, of course, just really showed us what's possible in regards to helping more people and having a global impact.
Amazing. That's a lot of things that the young entrepreneurs, they struggle with in terms of they want to feel, they find it really, they give a lot of pushback in terms of working with mentorships or working with experts. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think mentors are meant to collapse timeframes. Mentors help collapse timeframes. And so I could drive all around the United States on my own without a map, and I'd probably eventually get to my destination. But if I have a guide, if I have a GPS, a map of the shortest shortcut, I know that there's going to be some potholes. I know that there's going to be some challenges, but as long as I can anticipate them and I know that I have somebody to coach me through that, it's been super helpful. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. They say it's like you're buying their mistakes in a way.
Oh, I love that. Love that. That's awesome.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, man. So what do you kind of say? What is your kind of go-to thing on social media? What's your messaging on social media? How do you help people?
Yeah,
Like,
great.
you know what? You understand the question?
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, did you understand the question? Did I explain it well?
Yeah. How do I help people on social media? Is that what you asked?
Yeah. How do you basically take someone from the point where they don't know what they're doing about financial, maybe a point where you were at when you started out, to a point where you are helping them out?
Yeah. Well, we're very consultative by nature. We're also
Okay.
not product pushers because we're licensed brokers, which means that we don't work for one company. I actually work for my clients. So it's very important
Okay.
for me to understand what my client wants to accomplish. What is their pain? What is their concern? What questions do they have about their current situation? And where do they want to get? And so, in order to get where they want to get, I need to understand where they currently are. And that's not by telling them what to do, that's by asking them questions and then finding solutions to their pain point. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Similar to sales. It's like you don't
Of
tell
course.
them what's wrong with them. You ask them. You let them tell you. Then you can explain it to them. Here's why this is wrong.
Absolutely. So, not being a one trick pony and not pushing a product means I'm actually helping my consumer as long as they know the pros and the cons, what's capable, what's not capable. As a licensed advisor, I'm here to help them. And by the way, finances are not static, they're dynamic. So, we're supposed to have annual reviews. We're supposed to check in on regular basis, quarterly. The kids get older, they graduate college, people pass away, people get sick. And so we put those things in place, making sure that our products benefit them financially in the long run.
Amazing, amazing. That's really amazing. I'm really, really curious about this world of financial literacy, right? So, what is like the number one thing you would say is like this is a telltale sign? Obviously, you said spending $10 an hour while you make five, but like, what is something if someone's oblivious to the whole thing? How can they kind of diagnose themselves?
Yeah. So first, I mean, we have an acronym in the office, PhD, and it starts with they need to be personally accountable. They need to admit they need help, PhD, and then be willing to make a decision. Some of the soft closed questions I ask is if I would show you a plan better than what you're already doing, you be the judge of it. Is there any reason why you wouldn't move forward? Oh, and by the way, I'm showing you that plan without saving additional income. It's really just where to save, not necessarily what to save or how much to save. Now, we can do a lot. I cannot turn $50. I cannot turn oxygen into $1 million. You still have to obviously save if you want to get to where you want to get, being financially free. But sometimes people just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's where, the expert comes in and kind of diagnoses it for them, right?
Absolutely. Our job is to offer resources. My job is not to share my opinions or emotions unless they ask for it. A lot of the times it's just knowing what the product and what the solution can do for them. And then math is just math. Saying I'm not here to share my opinions or emotions. Math is just math and to show the pros and cons. Because I think a lot of salespeople only talk about the advantages and kind of hide behind what's not possible. And we try to be as open and transparent as possible.
Yeah, and that is a, how do I say it? It's a wonderful, wonderful. You don't know how much wonders just being honest and upfront does for you in sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let me kind of ask you. I didn't get to this in the beginning. How long have you been doing financial literacy as per teaching it, being a coach?
Yeah, I've been a licensed advisor for 6 years.
Amazing.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video because that chat might just change your life.
So that's like 2019. I'm sure like social media was already around, already popping, did you hop on it immediately in terms of for your business, or was there kind of a delay?
I've been on social media for a long time. I didn't start to optimize it probably till like 2022, 2023. I'm really taking it seriously and auditing my own messaging and who am I actually talking to, and
Yeah,
who my niche is. So because if you talk to everybody, you talk to no one.
exactly.
And if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Exactly. And that's a really big thing with social media, because obviously everyone wants to you want to make a video and have people watch it, right? But like, your goal is not to have 1 million followers. You're a business person. You want to convert, you want to help people, you want to change lives, you want to make some money. So at the end of the day, you have to dial down who you're talking to. And I think that's one thing a lot of people do struggle with in the beginning.
Absolutely. I have a new advisor right now who wants to get into social media marketing or management. And he said, well, how do I start? And I said, well, you just start. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. You'll get better along the way. If I've been doing it since 2019 or 2022 in regards to social media, you'll have a lot of failures along the way, but just like shooting those reps, it's a numbers game, but it's also a skills game. Steph Curry doesn't just take the basketball and throw it at the backboard. He tucks his elbow in. He works on his form, right? So it's a numbers game and a skills game. That's what a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of, what was that learning curve for you? What did it take for you to kind of realize that this is a skill and it's not just something that you can just, raw dog and kind of, hey, I'm just banging out 50 pieces of content a month,
Yeah, so I think it took a lot of strategy in regards to mindset. So I think any great entrepreneur, if they focus on 4 main things, if they focus on their mindset, their communication, their system, as well as leadership. So a lot of people think, well, I have leadership skills, I have mindset skills, communication, I just need a system. But I would argue that you need all 4, and communication is a lost art. Being able to negotiate, being able to speak eloquently and clearly, and being able to present a solution that sometimes is complex, very simply to a prospect, because they're not a licensed advisor. I am. And so my goal is not to show people how smart I am. It's to transfer knowledge for them to make a decision. Like I said earlier, PhD, they have to be personally accountable and admit they need help. And I'm here to help them make educated decisions.
Amazing. How much does this actually do for you in terms of your feeling, your emotion, like being able to change someone's life? Obviously, like, you're helping them save more money, which at the end of the day is making more money. But like, what does that do for you as a person, being able to reach so many people and just change their lives?
Yeah, it's priceless. It's priceless. Alex Hormozy, we follow him a lot. We pay for a lot of his coaching programs. If anybody's a Hormozy fan out there, and he talks about your known market. Yeah, he's awesome. He talks about your known market and your unknown market, right? And it's just, what kind of impact do you want to make? Do you want to help 10 people this week, 100 people this week, 1,000 people this week? And I could run 24/7 appointments every single day, 1-hour calls, or I can do it with a team of junior agents and senior agents, just having a bigger impact, right? And so social media allows you to be in somebody's hand 24/7, for them to ingest your content, for you to add value to them, and eventually influence them to get some more information and just book a free call with us and say, hey, we don't know what we don't know. We have some concerns right now. We need to talk to a licensed advisor about this, somebody who's ethical, somebody who's moral, somebody who does the right thing 100% of the time and has high integrity. So social media allows us to have a global impact, especially internationally, which is really cool.
Amazing. Let's kind of tie it back down to social media and your strategy for growth, because that's a lot of things, the people in our audience struggle with, not just growth, but being able to convert those followers into cash, as they say. So what is your strategy in terms of social media? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, great question. So I believe in short form strategy as well as long form strategy, but they're also very different. I'm sure that this podcast right now is going to get cut up, maybe on my side, maybe on your side, or a little bit of both. And so asking organic questions and just coming from the heart, you'll kind of extract some of the gold from there. But if you have also 30-second, 60-second, 90-second reels that are hyper targeted for a specific concept like tariffs, which are really hot right now, a specific concept like the economy, the market, which is also very hot right now. If you think about structuring it as what's the hook, what's the call to action? And then you want to say what you want to say in the middle, kind of like a thesis paper back in 6th grade. I was never good at it back in 6th grade. Somebody had to coach me on, hey, you have a lot to say, a lot of good things to say, but if you structure it appropriately, what's the tagline, right? What's the tagline? Here's the 3 things you don't know about paying off your credit card debt. I'm like, wait a sec. I want to listen to that video. I want to know how to pay my credit card debt off. Or here are 3 things you need to do right now to lose weight in 2025. I'm like, well, I could always lose a few pounds too. And so just knowing some of that from the content that I ingest, I'm like, oh, that's content worth watching. And the more that you put out there, you can catch anybody. You can catch any, social media influencer if you just outwork them. So it's just knowing the algorithm and getting used to it, just pumping out content that's quality, that people in your niche want to watch, and that adds value to them. Does that answer your question?
Definitely does. And you've been able to grow your account amazingly to like 50,000+. What would you say is like, what's the biggest thing for that? So the audience can kind of benefit. What do they need to know? What are the hurdles they need to know about? What is going to slow them down?
Yeah, I would just say being disciplined and being consistent. So if you're wanting to get some success on social media, treat it like a business. Treat it like you're working out. If you work out 1 hour a day at the gym, block off an hour of content creation in your calendar, because we're all busy in our business. We're all busy, with training, with leadership, with clients, with scaling, with marketing. And so I would say, in order to take it seriously, batch content and batch creating has been huge for me, as I wear a lot of hats, as I have a lot of priorities. And so taking it seriously in regards to setting aside dedicated scripts, dedicated time, having my hair done, having an appropriate microphone, having appropriate lighting is a big deal. Now, it doesn't need to be super edited or super fancy. I have 2 phones for a reason. One is a filming phone and one is my business phone, right? And just even with an iPhone 13 Pro, you don't even need to have the latest model. Just by adjusting some lighting, adjusting some effects, and being intentional about it, you'd be surprised with some of the cool content you can put out there. So I would say, to answer your question, be disciplined and consistent with setting time aside in your calendar to shoot content, and then just having purposeful communication and value. Who am I talking to, and what message would I like to share with them?
Amazing, man. Amazing. I'm really loving this conversation, because I'm a social media freak myself, in terms of I love breaking things down and analyzing. You seem like you've been in the trenches yourself in terms of doing this hands-on.
Try a lot of failure, but some successes too.
Amazing. Let's gotta get into the strategy of conversion. How do you convert? What's your strategy to convert a follower into a client?
Yeah, so converting a follower to a client, I think just about a funnel. Whether you're running paid ads on social media or organic, we've done a lot of both. We do webinars as well. And sometimes people forget that people are just people. Not everybody is in the buying process. Maybe I'm going to a car dealership to look at a car, or maybe my car broke down. If my car broke down, I'm like, I need a car now. Yeah. But if I'm just looking around and my car has 50,000 miles on it, and I know I want to run that Toyota Camry into the ground for 200,000 miles, those are 2 completely different prospects. Yeah. And so people don't realize that getting them down the funnel, sometimes they're just browsing. Sometimes they need a solution quickly. And so it's important, turning a follower into a client, that there's a process in regards to getting them to follow you, having them engage, like, comment on your content, sharing your content. Whereas if they're not your client, they're in the way of your client. So it's important to have drip marketing systems like Go High Level we use a lot, or having some type of way to engage them in your ecosystem. Maybe that's webinars, maybe that's your emails three times a week that you have automated, or maybe just every 7 days you're sending them messages on Go High Level, or having them click on your webinar, or having them actually book an appointment. Everybody will be at different stages of the funnel. So too many novices try to go from, hey, here's the word on tariffs, here's the word on the market, click a time in my calendar. Not everybody is wanting to click a time on your calendar. You got to warm them up a little bit first.
You got to nurture them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Have you heard of the study that Google did, where they said for someone to buy something from you online, especially if it's high ticket, they need to watch at least 7 hours of your content over 11 different touch points, over 4 different social media platforms. Are you familiar with the study?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're probably thinking of different studies, but yes, I've also heard those same metrics. 7 touch points for somebody to even buy from you.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So that comes with the nurturing, as you said, the drip email nurturing list, long form content, because that does amazing as well. And also short form content to grab their attention and see, like, okay, I'm seeing this guy like twice a day on my phone. He's become a familiar face. Whenever you see him somewhere else, it's like you associate him with this guy's the guy who's the finance expert. He's the one who I'm listening to for advice in terms of changing my situation, whatever that situation may be, whatever that goal of yours might be.
Yeah, well said, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Amazing, amazing. Well, let's kind of get into you as we're getting to the end of the podcast. What does 2025 hold for you personally in terms of you and the brand and business in general?
Yeah. So we've got huge plans. I already have all my business travel booked out until 2026. And people are inviting me to weddings and social stuff. And I'm just like, I don't really want to be on a plane anymore. It's kind of cool being able to run your financial firm virtually, but nothing replaces a handshake. So we're doing a lot of in-person seminars, a lot of in-person webinars, as well as a lot of in-person agent trainings. We're looking to grow the agency from 8 figures to 9 figures this year. We're learning from somebody who does that volume, not in a year, but in 6 months, because his wife is a cancer survivor. And ever since she, survived cancer, he said, I will never waste another day. And so instead of doing 300 million annually, he does 350 million in 6 months in business revenue, because he says the rest of the 6 months I just spend with my wife. We travel the world. He actually owns an island in North Carolina, and he's in the nude for 3 months at a time. And we say, okay, if we go to his house in North Carolina, just make sure he wears pants, because he's going to do some high level training for us. And so it's just there's always new levels. There's a new devil to every level, right? In just regards to helping more people.
Amazing, amazing. I feel like, for you, all these years of you being in the trenches, especially with social media and marketing, it's gotten to your point now where it's paying off in terms of you're receiving the fruits.
Yeah, I love that you said that. We'd like to be fruit inspectors, because there's a lot of talk out there, right? And we're like, well, show us your walk. And we know that it's biblical that peach trees they will produce peaches. They will not produce apples. So we like to be fruit inspectors. And sometimes you're just planting seeds that pop up at different times when you're not expecting them, right? So it's important to have, a lot of people say 7 different streams of income. I think about 7 different streams of marketing with one hyper niche. So if I'm a financial expert, I don't want I don't want to do real estate. I don't want to do mortgages or solar. I'm not an expert at that. I'm an expert at financial services and helping people grow their money tax-free, right? And so, but I do believe in 7 different streams of marketing. And one of those can be social media. 2 of those can be social media on different platforms, right? And other of them can be in-person webinars, online webinars, warm market, referrals, annual reviews. And so your business should come from multiple places, and social media can be an amazing place to do that, whether you spend the time, the money, the energy, or all 3.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, definitely. I think social media is like, I think you said this a lot on the podcast. You're someone who wants to be able to just do this from the home, do this on the comfort of their home, right? And it's like nothing. We would never be able to get there without social media. Just connecting with people. Like, how many people in your neighborhood? Obviously, a lot of people need financial services, but let's take it in a different context. How many people do you actually know in person who are even at a level where they will need your services, right? And that's what social media does.
Absolutely. Just expands your reach, whether you want to. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to say earlier, Mike, is a lot of people don't doubt the small story, because every oak tree started with an acorn. And so just because you have 50 views on your Instagram reel, or 100 views or 200 likes, a lot of people look down on themselves. And I saw a post the other day about a room with 100. I don't know if you saw the post too. A room of 100 people. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. You probably wouldn't be able to speak to 100 people.
Absolutely. Versus MGM in Las Vegas, 40,000 people, right? And so every influencer or every person who has a voice or an audience, every oak tree started with an acorn. So 50 people or 100 people to ingest your message every single day. Don't undervalue that. You're still influencing someone for the better, whatever your message is, whether you're in fitness, whether you're in finance, whether you're in a different industry, in tech, in healthcare. There's a lot of ways that you can help people by using platforms. If you're not doing that in the 21st century, you're going to get left behind.
Definitely. Let's kind of get to the end of this. What would you say to someone who's in the audience? I already gave you a kind of a perspective of who the audience are and how they're doing. What would you say to them? Because like, let's say they're sub 10K a month. They want to scale. They need to scale. Things are coming down. What action steps would you advise that they should take and able to, I'll let you have it. I'm not gonna qualify that too much.
Yeah. What initially comes to mind, I actually have a lot of agents and advisors who are stuck at 10K a month, stuck at 100K a year. And I'll just say, start before you're ready. And imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. If you've gotten to where you are in regards to 10K a month or 100K a month, then you need to start thinking about a marketing budget, because you've already probably tapped into your known market. There's a lot of people that are in your unknown market that don't know who you are. And so a phrase comes to mind. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. And so by investing in your social media, whether it's new lighting, whether it's camera, whether it's paid ads, and having a strategy, you'll be able to reach that unknown market and help a lot more people than you even imagined.
Definitely. At the end of the day, that's why we do this, right? Obviously, the money is good, but that's the thing with coaches. Every coach, like, no one does coaching for something that they don't have a personal story to. Like, you're not going to see a fitness coach who fitness hasn't absolutely transformed their lives, or a finance coach who wasn't in the depths of being, financially.
Whether you're in finance or fitness, that has a personal tie to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so much when you start to have an audience, you'll start to get the opinions, especially from the people who have no name on their profile and no profile picture. Usually, and it's not usually positive, it's usually negative, right? So it kind of comes with the territory. But people are only seeing the highlight reel. They're not seeing the failures. They're not seeing the long nights, the early mornings, right? They're not seeing the bankruptcies. They're not seeing the divorces or anything like that. I'm not saying I went through any of those, but sometimes we see a fitness coach who's 350 pounds, 400 pounds, and we'll say, how come, they can't guide me? They're obese, they're overweight. But we didn't know that fitness coach started at 600 pounds. We didn't know that they actually worked really hard to get to where they are, and they're not done. So I can still learn from that individual. And so people are pretty quick to judge, especially online, without knowing the backstory.
Definitely. And that's one of the things that comes with it. But at the end of the day, why you're online. And that's one thing that I don't know. I don't even know if it discourages a lot of people, because it might discourage content creators. But when you're a coach and you have this purpose, that's just chit chat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. We're held to a higher standard, and that's okay too.
Exactly.
We're also not for everybody, and which is also okay.
Exactly. I think this has been an amazing podcast. We've kind of gone full circle here. What is something you wish I asked you on this one?
Probably a little bit about my backstory and my family and why I do what I do, like in regards to more of the why rather than the what and the how.
Kind of get into that. Well, obviously you said, I think you said you did speak about it. You said that you were in a position where you've been doing medicine, and like I think your wife is a nurse as well. And it's like how you were spending more than you were making. So kind of go on from there.
Yeah, I think just whenever I look at the core values and the pillars in my life, it's always God, family, and business in that order. Faith, family, business. But I learned once from a mentor, it's not always in that order, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's 1, 1, 1. And balance is personal. Priorities are personal. For somebody else to tell you what your priorities are or what your balance is, it's, kind of unsolicited unless you give them the permission to do that. But yeah, only me and my family know our balance, whether it's, our gym routine or our budgeting or, our business finances or what we do with our daughter and how we audit our time as well as our finances. So that's very personalized.
Amazing. Yeah, man. Let me kind of ask you this then. Where can people go to find out and learn more about what you do?
Yeah, best place to find me is probably Instagram, The John Mall. John is Jon, mall, like a shopping mall, MALL, The John Mall. I'm also on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all the major platforms, YouTube. You can find me there. Instagram is probably the one that I'm on the most.
Amazing. The John Mall on Instagram, 50 plus K. Amazing. Yeah, hopefully we can have you on some other time. We can kind of break down some more stuff. This has been really amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I really hope you enjoy this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?